I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are
The SG Boys, that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at The SG Boys.
Well, it has come to this, our last episode.
Ever.
Way to be dramatic and like fatalistic. I mean, the world is ending after all. We're all gonna die from this heat, this Brat Summer heat.
Yes, and you finally getting on the whole Chapel Road.
The Chapel of Rhone, the Church of Chapel Rhone.
Yes.
Josh was actually the first one who told me about her. This was, I want to say, very early this year.
Yeah.
You were like, yeah, she draws from drag queen aesthetics and like, you know, she has such an amazing voice and like musicality to her. You would really enjoy her. And I was like, okay, you know, Josh being Josh, because he's such a radio DJ, it's in his blood. It's in his DNA to recommend good music. But because this, and I trust his taste, obviously, but there's so many recommendations coming from him that sometimes I have to filter. I have to like, okay, save that link, bookmark that.
Wow.
I'll circle round to it.
Yeah.
Chapel Roan is one of those people that I finally came round to, and I was like, look at her now.
And look at you now. It's
Me?
like, yo, I can see you working with Chapel Roan, like on stage. Y'all have the same kind of like chaotic, fun, free, colorful energy.
Wow, that is high praise. What an honor.
She is hiring for her tour.
Is she?
Yeah. She went on Instagram to like do a big call for like drag queens specifically.
Oh, I didn't know
to
that.
be part of her show. But I mean, this is in the States. But then again, you can travel.
Time to move there. All the opportunities await. As much as we are getting old and we're getting tired, our work here is not done. We are not ending this podcast, but this is going to be the last episode of this season. And I know we take a lot of breaks, but this break is going to be one that's, you know, worth waiting for in terms of what comes after, because we have such exciting plans in store.
Yeah, we've been like, this next season is probably the most ambitious season yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think you've seen it all,
If you think you've heard it all,
you may have.
you know what? Yeah,
You may have. Yeah.
That's all the clues we're giving you. Yeah, we're just gonna continue edging y'all, but not before serving one last episode.
Of course.
Going out in style. Before we get ready, before we, you know, warm up for the next leg of our tour.
This is the part where we can just kind of like let our hair down, or at least for you.
Yeah, I know, but well,
we can start off with kind of like why some of the breaks that we've been taking have been a bit longer. You know, it's not really sometimes in our control, unfortunately, but this has been like a recurring thing for each of us, including Rachel.
yeah, that's true. I think we started off this year especially bent on producing one episode at least once a month, right? And you know, if you all have been with us from the get-go, from the first ever episode, when it was Josh, me, and Kennedy, we did it every week.
Yeah.
Looking back, I don't know how the hell we pulled that off, but we actually sustained that for a couple of months.
Yeah.
But I think after a while, it got to a point where, you know, we realized that in order for us to share authentically, to let other people in and to share a bit of ourselves, we had to do some living as well.
Yeah.
That meant making time for work, making time for personal relationships, right?
Yeah.
Which we otherwise maybe wouldn't have prioritized.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get caught up with the whole rush of everything.
Like when you kind of like not look at the calendar, but you just kind of look at like the show it is as it is on the whole. I think so far we've also been very, very careful about what we put out. I mean, we've talked about like the quality that we always try to keep at that level.
Let's not talk about the rarities.
The B-side.
The B-side.
The unreleased material that we auctioned off at some point.
There's actually like hours upon hours of footage that...
Audio and video.
Ooh, that didn't make the cut yet.
Yeah.
We're also getting a bit nostalgic now because last time Josh and I met, it was with Rachel and we were at your place having dinner.
Yeah.
And just kind of like charting the rest of the course for this podcast. And we were like, hey, you know what? Come November, it's going to be 4 years. 4 years of the SG Boys. I didn't even think we would make it through 1 or 2, much less 4. And not to jinx anything, but I feel like the fact that we've been doing it for so long and we still feel like there's so much more to do you know, and there's so many other people we want to bring on and so many other stories we want to hear. On top of the fact that we have been growing with the podcast.
Yeah.
I think we both started as very same but different people
Yeah.
at the start of the podcast. So I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing, and yeah, I don't want to get mushy, but I think in its own small way, this podcast changed my life.
You know, at the start of the year, we both struggled quite a bit with our mental health.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting how seasons change, and now it's like we've been struggling with our physical health. Now,
Oh my
it's like,
goodness.
can't we just catch a break?
Yeah, just give us a goddamn break. This year we started off, both of us, a bit. I think it's good because we took time to ourselves. We need to take those breaks. And I don't think, well, I guess I can talk about it more openly now. I wasn't prepared to share this earlier, but at the start of the year, I was like, I need therapy. I need some external help. You know, obviously I have a very good support system around me, friends and family, but I found myself needing to reach out and go, hey, you know what, it's okay, right? And not like I've ever judged anyone, because I have so many other friends, you yourself included, Josh, who have sought help. I've always been someone who felt like I could trust my mind so much, you know, and my own emotions. They were in fact my guiding compass, my northern star, so to speak. And suddenly I was like, oh, I'm not so sure anymore. So I kind of like needed someone to help me there. I feel like I have definitely bounced back. Yeah, unfortunately now the stuff that plagues me is very different. You know, it's of a different tenor. Starting with my vocal nodules. At the start of a lot of episodes we record and then my voice is husky, and I always give an excuse and say, oh, it was karaoke, it was a late night here and there, whatever. But now I've come to realize that, hey, you know what? There's a high chance and possibility that it's going to be like that forever. And I just have to be okay with it. So I believe I have vocal nodules. I haven't been diagnosed, but I can feel it. The other day I was at a wedding. You know, I love to do a good yam sing. And I just felt like, oh my goodness, I couldn't sustain the note. Usually I'll be the one that's like, you know, last to shut up and the last to drink. And I'll be making the yam sing go longer and longer and longer. I found myself like struggling to catch my breath. And same goes for when I go for karaoke, and I still love it. And I still go for karaoke at least like once or sometimes even twice a week, which is probably why I have damaged vocal cords. But I'm rambling, am I not?
No, actually, you're not. No, you're not. How we got to know Sam Joe is from your voice. The condition of your voice is going to matter to a lot of us.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to just say the thing that I think the listeners are thinking right now, which is, are you able to just rest your voice, and will it heal from like drinking a lot of water and just like resting your vocal cords? Or is it something that even if you were to do that, if let's say it is what you're suspecting, it's going to be like on and off?
Back in the day, all it took was, like you said, a lot of hydration and a lot of sleep. And it could be just one good night's rest. And the next day I'm like, good as new.
Yeah.
But now it takes a lot more for me to feel like, okay, I can tahan another karaoke session, sing this song without me losing my pitch, you know, my voice cracking. And I think it has to do with definitely, you know, me pushing my voice in a lot of ways, you know, with nightlife and like staying up late and everything, and alcohol notoriously bad for your vocal cords, right? So that's on me. Another thing I think is long COVID, perhaps. You know, I sometimes feel like I'm still suffering from the ripple effects of COVID. You know, I feel like my lungs haven't been the same again. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, even when I don't have a cold or anything, I'm just coughing because it's like so ticklish inside. You know, and I've spoken to quite a few friends, and apparently it's the same. And then perhaps this is the most important point, which I'm guessing you can relate to as well, is aging lah. We're just getting older. You know,
see, this is the thing that so I live with my best friend, right, Jarek. So he's always like, we're aging, we're aging, 我们老gay了.
Yeah.
You know,
oh my goodness.
But maybe this is like a topic that we can revisit in the future about the perception of aging from a gay person's perspective.
Oh, definitely.
You know how they say like a gay relationship is how many years compared to like a straight person's relationship and all that, right?
Yeah.
Some of us like take a long time to bloom. And it's like a lot of the things that your first kiss or whatever, that first real genuine thing comes much, much later. So sometimes like our perception of the world is a bit warped as well. And I think with, at least for my experiences, I feel like I was 20 not that long ago. We were young and other people were much older.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. And my perspective of the world was quite different not that long ago. But now things are so different. I feel a huge gap between the way I look at the world and like the next generation, you know, when before it felt like it was not that far off.
Yeah. We were the Gen Z once upon a time, right? Of day and age.
We used to always be called like, oh, y'all are so young.
You look around a room and at one point, like you said, you were the youngest in the room.
Yeah.
Now, no more. Now it's like, if anything, you're the oldest. And if you're not the oldest, like, you know, people, you're perhaps more experienced. People are coming to you for advice. And a lot of that has to do with age. I think we're not alone in feeling that way, that times have changed. And as they say, time waits for no man, right? This world is rather ageist, you know, and it's not something we can necessarily change overnight. We can't turn back time. Better we learn to embrace it sooner rather than later, right? I'll be the first to admit I'm freaking terrified of aging, and by extension, aging leads to eventually death and everything. So our mortality and everything. These are some things that I'm super terrified of.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, these things are also inevitable.
I think in my mind, we would have hit a certain number of beats before we feel old. Whereas it's like suddenly in the quiet, we're old. Or we're older, you know, and it's like, oh, my metabolism's not like how it used to be. My digestive system is not how it used to be, you know, like I'm taking pills and medication, and the amount of medication that I've been on since the start of the year, I've never been like that.
Really? What are you on?
A whole bunch of things I'm not going to talk about, but like,
okay.
I'm on a whole bunch of things. There's
prescription drugs. Wow.
And like I would wake up in the morning and I'd be like, I have to take this. And I was like, wait, literally like last year or the year before, I never had to think about what vitamins I'm deficient, you know?
What supplements you have to pop.
And now I'm thinking about all these things. I'm spending a lot of time at the pharmacy. I'm learning about, I'm speaking to the pharmacist all the time. His name is John. I actually know his name.
Hi, John.
You know?
Okay.
And I'm getting advice to try to understand what are the different sort of painkillers and the difference between that and like the anti-inflammatory pills and all that. Everything just kind of happened like that quietly.
Yeah.
Whereas like in my mind, I'm like, I thought I'm supposed to like do this thing and then be old, and then the body will start to change, you know?
And I think we mentioned this in the previous episode also. You know, you said one positive way to look at it is that we are right now, as of this moment, the youngest we'll ever be. So I actually thought that, I don't know if you look at me like you never heard that before, but that came from you, Josh.
You may have said it, but sometimes, you know, you need to like remind yourself. Like I was like, whoa, that's a good point. And I was like,
yes,
shit.
That was a good point, and that came from you, and that gave me a lot of hope. Like thinking about it, and I was like it helps with me processing this whole aging thing. Again, like you can't turn back time, so you might as well cherish what you have, cherish whatever youth you have left, because let's face it, we're all dying. You know, some of us more slowly than others, thankfully, if we should be so lucky. It's a cliche lah, but like health is most important, right?
Yeah.
So take care of it while we can.
I'll give you another sort of potential mantra for you that has helped me quite a bit, which is sort of the positive, optimistic way of looking at aging. When I was at my worst physically, which was not very long ago, I would look at an old person and be like, how the heck did you go through all the different health complications, your different organs potentially failing you, your metabolism going a certain way and all that, plus loss people around you.
Oh, yeah.
And still be like eating porridge with a smile.
Right.
I aspire to be like you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, it's like, oh my gosh, I never want to be so old. Oh my gosh, what a privilege it is to age.
Not everyone makes it that far.
Yeah.
And even if you do make it far, like in what condition are you? Funny that you say you have to pop a lot of pills, because recently I've been having so many conversations, like, you know, with friends. Rachel's one of them. She was going to come on and talk about her struggles with acid reflux.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
Once in a blue moon, I also get it. And this is not something I ever had to think about. The only time I last used the phrase acid reflux was when I was discussing, you know, Ashlee Simpson's 2004 or 5 SNL saga.
On a Monday, I am waiting. Tuesday, I am fading.
Her band played the wrong song, and it's because like she had to use a backing track because of acid reflux. That was the last time, 20 over years ago, and I was like, that is an Ashlee Simpson problem.
Yeah.
I would never have to contend with that or deal with that. Next thing you know, the other day I'm climbing a flight of stairs home, thinking that walking is going to do me some good, right? And suddenly I felt this burning sensation in my chest. And I was like, what's going on? And I had to stop and go like, wow, that was acid reflux.
Wild.
And then it went back down,
Yeah.
And I've been having a lot of like bloating issues also.
Yeah, let me paint a picture. So when we had Rachel and Sandra over at my place, the most excited we was when we were gathering around my pharmacy. Do you have something like that as well? So I have a section in my kitchen. If anyone's not feeling well, I have you covered. I have like a little mini Watson's there, and it's so precious. When I travel, I take my makeshift pharmacy with me because you never know what you're gonna need.
Right.
And how your body might fail you.
Right.
These were things I never cared about in my 20s. But now it's not just me, it's like the people that I travel with as well. It's like just in case someone hurts themselves.
And back then it used to be just like, preemptive, right? Or a Panadol for a headache maybe, or Zyrtec for, if you have a runny nose or allergies. But now we're talking about pills for more chronic stuff.
Yeah. And then you have my roommate who's against all of that, and he's like, Chinese medicine is where it's at. So he has
there you go. So he has his own, Chinese cabinet, is it? Oh wow! If your Western medicine doesn't work, bring on the TCM, man. I don't mind.
My goodness! Look, I've done the pharmacy thing. I've done A&E. Like I've gone straight to the emergency room, which we'll talk about maybe later.
Okay.
But I've also done the tuina and the guasha. Is it guasha?
Yeah, guasha.
And the bakwa.
Right.
I've done that as well.
Cupping, and as guasha where they scrape you until you become very red.
I've done that. The next one on my list is acupuncture, which still freaks me out a bit. I know it's ironic because I've got a lot of tattoos, but I just think the ideas of all the needles being on me and staying there. If you've seen Final Destination,
yeah.
So that's the only one that I'm still like a bit like. Have you tried acupuncture?
I've never tried, but I'm also really curious about it. I want to believe it works because TCM, from what I understand, is like a long game, right? It's not like pop like a Western pharma pill and overnight you get better. Which I think also is, you see my voice, which I think also is what a lot of us are used to. That gets us into this mindset where like we can always like deprioritize our health because if
there's
need be,
a pill for everything.
Exactly. If need be, the pill is going to be is going to solve all the problems, and I've been told by TCM practitioners that, if you really want to get better, you have to change your lifestyle. And it's all about, sleeping early or eating certain things or less of certain things, everything in moderation.
Water.
Yeah, exactly. Hydration, right? Again, commonsensical, but it's stuff that, again, we just don't prioritize because we think that, sleep can wait, work is more important, partying with friends, like, who can resist? For me, especially, it's like, one more round? Okay, sure, let's go. Like, and then who's up till 5 a.m. singing karaoke? This sucker over here. Again, explains the voice, right? So we are what we reap what we sow, I guess.
I don't want you to blame yourself like that, right? Because it's like when I'm on Instagram and I go through like my friends' stories and stuff, yours is like easily the most exciting. You're always at a pool party. You're always doing karaoke. You're always surrounded by friends. You're on a yacht somewhere.
Right, in Hong Kong.
You're constantly living it up, and then you're doing it in drag as well. So I think you also have all these incredible memories and stuff. Meanwhile, there's me. I won't go out and party. I went out recently to meat market.
Sausage market. Which, by the way, let's talk about this. I'm so upset I was not there. I really just wanted to see Joshua Simon at Sausage Market. That's like the last place I expected you to be. But how was it? Tell me.
Okay, because maybe we'll get to it later, maybe we won't get to it, but I'm single now.
Okay.
And I was with my roommate friend and his friends and everything, and they're like, oh, Josh, you need to go party. Because I've never been to hell and all that. And
these are all, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, these are all gay establishments in Singapore.
Yeah. I was like, okay, sure, I'll go. So I went to Sausage Fest.
Sausage Market.
Sausage Market.
Yes, or SM for short.
Which was quite cool, like the layout of it outside. It kind of looks like an actual char siu shop. My point I'm trying to make is that you're living out your life, you're partying, you're having all these memories. I'm not going out, I don't let myself have fun. I overthink everything. I feel like one of the Sex and the City girls is like me.
Miranda Hobbs.
Yeah, the one with the kids and everyone.
Yeah, Miranda.
So that's me.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, no, I will not do this. So that's me.
Yes.
And then,
Are you saying I'm Samantha? I get it. Samantha Jones. which is my name on Splitwise, by the way, because.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So you can control. And
I love her.
my health wasn't getting any better.
Yeah.
You know? So I was just like, look, I'm trying to do everything right, and my health is just failing. I'm gonna go back to Sausage Farm, and I'm gonna
just deliberately waiting for me to correct him, but
and I want to go to the one next to it, Tuck Shop.
Right, Tuck Shop is Singapore's new drag bar. All right, where you can go for, you know, the resident queens over there. A lot of them are our friends, some of whom have been on this podcast before.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place. Have you been?
No, I was outside, and then I think I saw Salam outside as well, and she was like, "You're gonna go in?" I was like, "No, I like, to me everything just looked like a chore." I was like, "No, I think I should probably go home. I should go and shower, and I should go and sleep." So I was just like, "But y'all have fun." Everything that I said aged me like 20 years, man. And I was just like, I should have gone in.
What time was it when you said that?
There was a line outside. I think maybe 11 plus.
Yeah, so still early, not midnight yet. So I'm just curious, because you know that if I was there, I would have tried to convince you. I would have dragged you in somehow.
No, but I think also maybe I would have felt like safer with you there.
So was it the company, or do you feel like it was your social anxiety kicking in again?
The health part. Like, I was more worried that if I were to go in,
it would trigger your physical symptoms again. Right. Okay, so for context, maybe you want to share. Yeah, so Josh has been exhibiting again, this is our aging episode.
Yeah.
Okay, all our health problems, we're just going to list it right here in case anything happens to us. Touch wood, you all know.
Yeah.
But
we'll preface this by saying that everything that we're sharing is from our own experiences. Please do not like diagnose yourself with anything or start taking the same kind of whatever that we take. We're just gonna share our own experiences.
Yeah, and definitely don't Google your symptoms too much, because it always ends up as, like, you know, something fatal and something terminal. So go see the doctor lah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Josh has been experiencing a whole slew of new symptoms that for the longest time he couldn't wrap his head around, and he was super worried about.
Yeah, so I around March, I had sharp stabbing pains in my chest. Left side of my chest near the heart. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to take a painkiller. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it'll be fine. Throughout our lives, we have weird little health things that happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? And I woke up the next day and I was not fine. And I had to host, and I had a whole bunch of things to do. With radio and stuff, you know, if I'm gonna miss my show, I need someone to cover my show. It's quite complicated, essentially. It's quite hard to miss your radio show. And there was just too many things happening. I got guests to interview and everything, so there was just no way I could stop. So I was hosting an event at the expo, and as I'm hosting, my chest is hurting, and I could feel like my left arm starting to feel a bit numb.
Oh my god!
So I was just stretching and like moving my arm. I told, like, very casually, almost in a joking manner, to my co-host at that point. And then she was so mad at me because there was another radio DJ who is an icon in our industry who passed away very suddenly as well. So she was like, "You're going to go to A&E now." So I spoke to my manager and I finished my shift first. It's quite funny. It's like, okay, finish your shift first. It's like, yeah, sure.
Wow.
I'll finish my shift and then I'll rush to A&E emergency. Yeah. So I went to A&E and I did a blood test as well. Even the blood test part, I was just like, do I need to? It costs like $400, you know? So that's like the other thing about health, right? It's like the cost of it as well.
Cost of it, and the fact that this clearly was an emergency, but you had to finish your work first. And I get it, in the moment it's tough to walk away. It's not so easily done. But back to what we were saying earlier about deprioritizing health, right? It always comes second, even though we know it should be first.
I called my dad. My dad was like, no, it's best to just do a blood test. Thankfully, the blood test results came out fine. They could not find what was going on. But based on where sort of the doctor was kind of like pressing my chest, and and I could feel the pain, right? And it's like, okay, if you can feel the pain and you're pressing your chest and everything, then chances are it could be a muscle issue. So what it could be is costochondritis.
What?
Costochondritis.
Costochondritis. There you go.
Costochondritis.
Yeah, you mentioned this before, but it's such a technical term.
Yeah. So that was the first time I'd heard of that term.
What does
Because
it
when
mean?
I was having sharp chest pains and I Googled it, I didn't see costochondritis.
What do you see?
I saw everything else.
You saw
Lung
heart
cancer,
attack.
heart attack, stroke.
Stroke. Especially the numbness, right?
Yeah, everything was coming up. So costochondritis, it's the inflammation around the rib cage, the cartilage area, right? Because there's bone, but then there's also cartilage.
Wow.
And my major symptom that I was feeling was that I was feeling pain whenever I inhaled and whenever I exhaled deep. So if I slouch like deep, right? Like almost like you're scrunching in your chest, it will hurt really bad. Or if I'm taking a deep breath, after a certain limit, it will start to hurt. So it became really, really hard to breathe because I'm talking on the radio every day. I'm obviously taking big breaths,
Yeah.
but I would have to limit how deep I inhale. And especially at night, and you're trying to lie down and just rest, but you're trying to limit yourself, and then you start panicking, and then you start to not be able to breathe because you
Wow.
can't inhale properly.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're struggling underwater, you know, trying to like open up your chest to breathe. So I was facing that almost every single day, and I wasn't sure what was going on, and I was panicking. I was trying to blame myself as well, like what could be the cause of this. I mean, right now, as we're doing this podcast, as of today, my chest does not hurt.
Yay. Okay.
My muscles still hurt. So I went to the gym yesterday, and it was my first time back in the gym in months. I think it was like the first time I've gone to the gym where it's not about aesthetics. I was lifting like a fraction of what I used to lift, but my goal was very clear. It's like I need to train my back, because I think what happens with costochondritis is that you can either have it from an injury, or you can have it when you're slouching a lot, or your back muscles are really, really tense.
Oh.
So you end up putting strain on your chest in front.
Oh.
Right? I need to train my back muscles so that I don't slouch so much. What has really helped me is massage balls, rolling up a towel and lying on it, like around my spine area to kind of like lift me up and open up my chest. I would wake up in the morning and I would stretch, right? And my chest rib cage would be like clack, 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 clack.
Wow.
Like you can feel it like around my collarbone area. It was just like
Crack.
right now when I breathe, there isn't pain in my chest, and I'm so grateful for that.
I mean, now that you've identified the problem,
Yeah.
thank goodness, and yes, sure, like, it cost you a trip to the A&E and you had to do the blood test. It came back, everything came back negative, thank goodness, but at least you earned that peace of mind, and the doctor managed to narrow it down to something that is manageable, as of now, and then I hope it stays that way.
So people with costochondritis, they kind of like live with it. It comes back.
Oh, is it? So
Yeah.
it's like a chronic thing?
It can be chronic.
Okay.
So I have to use my massage ball very regularly. Anytime my shoulders are tense, I need to do something about it. So I have my massage ball with me all the time.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll lean against it on like a wall to just kind of loosen the muscles up, just so that it doesn't come back. Because if I just ignore it and then it starts to close and tense up again, that's when the costochondritis will return.
Wow. Word of the day, costochondritis.
Costochondritis, don't slouch, everyone.
Yeah, posture is so very important also as we age. Again, you're staying on theme here. Because we're on our phones and devices so much that we're always looking down. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my goodness, my head is protruding forward, And so it makes the back of my neck look slouchy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to try and keep reminding myself to, okay, stand up straight, basically.
Do you know what's one of the best exercises for costochondritis? It's exactly what you see old Chinese people do underneath the block.
Is it Tai Chi?
Which is, no, to like swing your arms from left and right, open up your chest, clap, go, ha, 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 because that helps. Ha, How did I go from like who I was to this? I would just like wake up in the morning and I'll just stretch, raise my arms out, stretch, pull it to the back, and then I'll clap and I go, ha, 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 wow.
Wow. This is very great Singapore workout. Do you remember where you have to do like the Buddha clap? very mindful. Okay,
Very
demure. No, but it's true. So there's this whole like, movement that's called mindfulness, right? And it's about going down to the simplest of things, like, how aware are you of your breathing? Because that's something that's very involuntary. So when you have anxiety, some therapists, they like to teach us how to pay more attention to our breathing. And once the mindfulness comes in, then that kind of calms us down. And the same goes for a lot of our other physical movements and whatnot.
What would you say is like the scariest part about aging?
Ooh, so this is stuff that, but this is stuff that I would, sometimes talk to my therapist about, but it's fine. Death, and I sense a bit of that coming from you also, when you talked about your vinyl records, your CPF and all that, because when you were presented with all these health problems and your mind jumped to those places, you were in fact confronting your mortality. But it's something that goes way back. And that's why I love therapy. I feel like if you can take time for yourself and do it, everyone needs some sort of therapy in some way or another, you know. And it could come in different forms, right? It could come with in the form of like, seeking professional help, or maybe even just speaking with your loved ones who can offer a different perspective, because it's only by talking about these things and verbalizing these things that I feel like you can get a clearer perspective on stuff. Yeah,
or gaining some insight. Actually, like if there are a lot of great books that you can read if you were to go look for it. But I also, one just quick little tip to add is that like I just go on YouTube and I type how I'm feeling. So like I'm afraid of dying, and I just type that and then I see what comes up. And you also have a lot of therapists on there. A lot of it has helped me a lot. And going to the comment section, it's like the most wholesome comment section in the world, because everyone is just sharing what their circumstances are, and you don't feel so alone.
You don't feel so alone.
Yeah. And you just read the comments and everyone's just encouraging each other. It's like, oh, I know what this feels like. Oh, I had, even for costochondritis, like I will YouTube it, and you just have all these different people. Like, I've been facing costochondritis for years. This has helped me, blah, 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 So like therapy for sure. If you are open to it, please try it. One other thing that you can do is just type what you're feeling and see what comes up.
That's very useful tip. I think we spend so much of our time online anyway. Might as well use it constructively. In my sessions, I feel like in talking about death and confronting our mortality as a whole, and in particular my mortality, apparently I've always had this fear since I was a kid. I still have memories of me as a kid. There were many nights when I would be drifting off to sleep, and when you're in the dark and you are unwinding and your mind is slowly starting to rest, sometimes your mind wanders in different places right before you drift off to La La Land. And I would remember thinking about death, essentially, and the fact that we would all have to die someday. The realization that, oh my goodness, I'm loving life so much. Like, there's this and that to look forward to tomorrow. I'm so excited to see my friends in class, and parents are taking me out this weekend. Like, there's so many things to be excited about in life. And I think I was sprouting and blooming in that sense. As I was coming to my own as a person, I was also realizing that all of these great things, all of these memories and experiences and relationships that we spend a whole lifetime building up will at some point come to nothing, right? And obviously I say that as like, some of you obviously are religious and you have a different perspective on things, but I am and have always been a free thinker and more agnostic in leaning, so to speak. Death is something that really was very hard to wrap my head around. So I would remember as a kid thinking about it before sleeping and crying myself to sleep, because I would go like, wow, life is so beautiful, but it has to come to an end, and I would cry myself to sleep. So that's how much I used to fear death, and I want to say still fear till now. That's how long I've been thinking about it. Yeah, in Harry Potter when there's like the Bogart, is it? What's that?
The thing that transforms into your greatest fear.
Yeah. Bogart, yeah. For some people it's ghosts, for some other people it's vampires or whatnot. Clowns, exactly. Yeah, for me it's like, I would say it's death.
The Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper.
Death itself still confuses me.
Mm-hmm.
And it still feels very surreal how the world experiences so much death, but then the world isn't sort of built around death.
Yeah.
It's like the world's built around youthfulness, moving on and making money, and money being passed on to the next generation, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like when you're close to someone who is dying, and then you look at what's happening around you, you're like, why does everyone else feel so oblivious to like this concept of death, you know, or like they don't want to look at it. That's the part that's very baffling to me. That's like the closest I feel to like, oh, we're living in a matrix. It must be, you know, like death is it's like the biggest thing, right? Because everything comes crashing down, right, in your life or in someone else's life, and it impacts all the loved ones as well. But then like the world just moves on. It's just like, oh, it's another thing, and it's like, no, you should not move on. You know, like we should just stop for a while and be like, this is messed up, you know. And even like when, you know, like for Samjo and I were like 90s kids, right? So we've lost a lot of icons that we consider to be like immortals in my mind, you know. I think recently with Shannon Doherty, yeah. I think that one was rough as well, because it's like you're like watching all these interviews with her, and she's talking about being so close to death, but she's looking at it like fearlessly, and she's so filled with life. When I saw that image of like rest in peace, I was like, no, you're joking.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a part of your mind hopes that she beats death itself because she's so self-aware about death. But then no, it just happens.
That was a very hard one for me to deal with. I think I texted you also and a few friends growing up watching her as Prue Halliwell in Charmed. It was just really iconic, like, you know, just watching three sister witches kick ass on screen, female empowerment and all that. And obviously, as you know, as gay guys, we were somehow very drawn to that. She was diagnosed with breast cancer first, underwent treatment, and she went into remission. When I started following her more closely on social media was when her cancer came back. And this time it had spread to her brain. You know, that's when I was like, whoa, wherever she is right now, I think I want to say a huge thank you to her, because obviously she was a voice for a lot of people with the same condition. But at the same time, I feel like she helped me grapple with, again, my fear of death. She could have just retired from the spotlight completely and just hid at home with her dog and her horses, because she loved her animals a lot. And not done any of this, but she chose to honor her friend Luke Perry when he died. You know, and she appeared on Riverdale. Chose to have her own podcast, Let's Be Clear. And then that's the sad thing, like just a few days before she died, she was actually recording new episodes of the House of Halliwell podcast with Holly Marie Combs and Brian Krause and the rest of them. She had so much more to do. She had all these plans and she was not ready to go. And I feel like that is the scariest thing to me about death sometimes, is that you're not done living. So she herself famously said in another interview, I think it was with People magazine or something, like she's not afraid of death itself, but she doesn't want to die. And there's a difference, right? Because there's so much more that she has unfinished business.
That was very hard to watch her say that, I don't want to die.
Yeah. And I watched that both before and after she died. And it rang true in so many different ways. And it's so whether or not you know of her or like, you know, you grew up watching her, like that's besides the point. The fact is, these are all common human experiences which at some point we have to contend with, right? Or have to come face to face with and really confront. In a way, it was therapeutic for me. So as much as I have this fear of death, I also have a bit of I'm strangely drawn to it. I don't know if you know this about me, but sometimes when I go overseas, I like to visit cemeteries.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That has never come up in our conversations, Andrew.
I've actually written a column about this. So when I was a journalist with the Straits Times, there was this regular personal column segment for younger reporters, and I actually wrote a whole piece about why I like cemetery tourism and stuff like that.
Does it make you feel like peaceful? Because I know some people feel that.
Yeah, to some extent, because like it's really quiet. I go in the day, of course, and you know, you're at one with nature. Like no one's there to bother you. But a big part of me is also very drawn to the fact that I would go visit Virginia Woolf, you know, in the UK, for instance, or George Eliot in London, right? Or I would go and see Anita Mui under the giant Buddha in Lantau Island in Hong Kong. I will walk past all these like tombstones and like, you know, maybe even like urns where you know, you have the death plug or something.
Right, like a gravestone?
Gravestone, I go there in a way like trying to feel their legacy. I look down and I go like, oh yeah, you know, this is where George Eliot lies, and this, you know, and I used to read her books and study her books. They're so far gone, but they've left a little something behind. So a part of me is thinking, what will my legacy be?
Right.
You know, what can I leave behind? And you only have one shot at this life, like make it count.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not going to write a book, you know, and maybe I'm not going to be a Hollywood star, but I'm going to make my own impact in the causes that I feel like, you know, are deserving of my attention. And I'm just going to give or
the
donating
SG Boys podcast.
Or donating my sperm somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like leave a bit of myself behind in some other way, because at some point we will all go.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe this podcast is one of those things, like, you know, but it's not why. Actually, that's funny you should mention that, because it's definitely not why either of us started it. But I think now looking at it, yeah, chances are it will remain long after we're gone.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
As long as we keep paying the subscription. But like it's become more and more, as this podcast goes on after 4 years, more and more like a time capsule for us. And I was actually, this morning, I was actually thinking about this idea of just transcribing every episode that we've had and then publishing it as a book, right? Because we would have who we were then, plus the conversations that we've had. It would be a very cool look at queer culture in Singapore, at least documenting who we've spoken to.
That's
from
a great idea.
Pre to post 377A, right? Wouldn't that actually be quite cool to like have a book? It
would be a very thick book, but
flip through and then all the music pop culture references that we have, and we have like a little picture here and there.
Yeah, why not? I think it would have to be excerpts.
Yeah.
Definitely not like the full-on conversations.
Not impossible. I mean, I could always transcribe it first, and then we can kind of like look at it and decide what we want to publish. Like the SG Boys as a book would be pretty cool to see in like Kinokuniya.
Interesting. Never thought of that, but yeah, that sounds like
you have a Nina section, you know, like how Singapore used to look like in the 80s.
I don't know. I'm just feeling a bit I'm in a way, I'm very relieved I shared that with you, because, you know,
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I didn't expect to go that deep as well, but that's what I mean. Like, this feels a bit like therapy. I feel like there was another invisible weight that I didn't know was there, but it kind of lifted off my chest.
Yeah, I felt that.
Every time I talk about it, it helps a little bit more.
You'd be surprised how much everything that you shared will relate to someone. When you were telling all that, like, I was reminded of how different my answers were when I was a young kid versus now. You know that question of like, oh, if you could have any superpower, what would you like? Like before it was like, oh, I want to like move things with my mind. I want to like explode stuff, you know? Like you think of these like silly, useless things, very destructive.
Yeah, that would make for excellent TV.
Yeah, but, like, I want to move stuff in my mind. We're just go and pick it up, you know? Like
yeah.
Like now it's like, if you would ask me that question, it's like, I want to heal people. Like I want to be able to heal people. When I was going through like at the crappiest of my health, that period when I still didn't know it was costochondritis, right? There was a thought that I shared with a friend of mine. I was like, did I make like a huge mistake with my career? Should I have just been a doctor?
Wow.
Because then I would have had something useful. Because like when you're going through your health stuff, your talents and all that does not matter. And I was just like, what good is like my radio DJ skills and shit? You know, like I just want to like fix this body. Like I want to get better. I want to understand what medication to take. And like I should have just been a doctor. If anything, to like help me understand my body more. And if anything else, then like, okay, to help other people. Right. And then I would interview doctors, right, on my show and stuff. And I'll just be like, I want your brain. Because you get to like go about life with the knowledge of like what to do when someone has A, B, or C. Like I interviewed a cardiologist today. I should have maybe learned that. I mean, I try not to let those thoughts linger for too long. Otherwise, I become like go into a state of self-loathing.
That's very sweet and a very noble way of thinking. But that's you, right? You're just very generous with how you want to help people. That's always been like the Joshua Simon I've known from day one. But 3 things I would say to that as a direct response. Number 1, doctors also from time to time don't know what's going on, you know, with their patients and also with their own bodies. By virtue of being a doctor doesn't mean that, you know, you can solve everybody's problems. So that's 1.
Yeah.
Secondly, you are healing people in your own way. So if you say that you want the power to heal, like I know you want to be Rose McGowan so badly, right? You just want to be a white lighter and, you know, you want to be Paige Hallowell.
Yes.
Which I can see. Sure, you may not have all that medical knowledge. You didn't go to med school. you're not a specialist, you're not a surgeon, but with your show and like, you know, with all the stuff that you're putting out there on airwaves, including this podcast, like you are helping people in ways that you probably can't even imagine. Thirdly, it's not too late lah. Like if you want to be a doctor, if you really want to be a doctor, maybe in about 10 years, let's check back and, you know, Dr. Simon. Never too late.
I know a lot about costochondritis though, if anyone ever goes
there
through
you go.
that.
You could be the costochondritis expert.
Yeah,
specialist. Costochondritis, also known as chest wall pain syndrome or costosternal syndrome.
Yeah, I also know a lot about oral mucoceles because I had to remove them twice.
What?
I had to pay thousands of dollars for that.
English, please. What?
Oral mucoceles. I don't know if I ever talked about it, but like I had like a ulcer on my lip.
Oh yeah.
You remember that whole saga?
I remember.
I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but like behind the scenes, it was all I was talking about.
Yeah.
So I had this like recurring ulcer in the same spot, and it was not painful. And if you were to Google painless ulcer on the lip,
it's oral cancer.
It's a whole bunch of things, potentially an STD. It's like a whole bunch of things, right? And I was like,
right.
I went to an ENT and they did a biopsy on it as well to ensure that it's not cancerous. And they confirmed it's an oral mucocele, so it's blocked salivary glands. I have this habit of, you know, the expression "bite your lip." I actually do it.
Wow.
When I get very, very nervous, I bite my lip hard. Sometimes like before I sleep as well, I'll just like bite my lips and move it around and it would cut. So what happens is that you bite hard enough, you damage the the kind of the ducts where saliva comes out of. So it ends up going to another area and then it just fills up and then bursts and then fills up and then bursts. So
wow,
that's why it recurs in the same spot. So I had to get it surgically removed. They had to slice open my lower lip, remove nearby salivary glands as well, because we don't know which one is blocked. You can't tell. You gotta kind of guess. So I removed it, and then actually just 2 months ago, and it's still healing my lower lip, it came up again, the same spot. So we had to cut it open again and remove all the other salivary glands within the area. So actually, like underneath my lower lip, there's like this whole section here, there's no salivary glands.
Wow.
Here.
So do you have like less saliva now? How does it work?
Is my hit game the same?
I didn't even know that saliva came from your lips. I thought it was like some
around your whole mouth. That salivary glands.
Come think of it. I thought like
so don't bite your lip.
So there you go. You already, as I see it, you're a few years late for med school, but you're already 2 topics ahead: costochondritis and oral mucocele.
Yes.
Look it up. Is that your biggest fear? I mean, to shoot your question right back at you.
No.
So because we talked a lot about, you were asking about my biggest fear when it comes to aging.
Yeah.
What is yours? Just to make sure that.
I don't think it's death itself. It's the opposite of you crying yourself to sleep. Like it would help me sleep when I think of death. When my mental health was really bad, I would think of death as a way to calm me down. And I say this only, and I hope it's not triggering for anyone that struggles with suicidal ideation, but I found, as someone who has struggled for years, is that death, like the thought of it, calms me down, and I don't feel that sense of like urgency or fear. Me looking at sort of my vinyl records and everything, it's just more like feeling bummed out and feeling like I wasted all my money on things that I won't get to listen to all of it, you know? Maybe because of my faith, I'm not as afraid of it, but I think for me, the fear is the living part. The fear is not being able to go, and I'm still here, but I'm lonely, or I'm lost, or I'm purposeless, or I'm not able to provide for myself, or I'm not able to provide for other people. I think that to me scares me more than just kind of like exhaling. I think it's maybe also a very real queer person's fear. Part of like the whole being single and young as a queer person is, you know, you're going to the gym, you want to look good, you want to like take care of your skin and dress up so you can look presentable so that other people will find you attractive. And then there's also some form of validation that you get for it as well, like, oh, I'm on the right track, baby, right? And it's like, oh, if I'm going to be much, much older, people are going to swipe left.
Mm.
Already sort of just being back on the dating scene and like seeing people on their profile saying like, no above 30. And I'm like, okay. you know. And then I saw this video on TikTok about a bunch of people in Seoul, and they were like denied entry into a club because they're above 30.
Bitch.
But it's those kind of things where it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
there will be a time when the skin is really going to sag, or I'm going to look very noticeably different. Am I going to be able to handle that? Will I have someone by my side who would still look at me as a young person, you know, or not? So I think those are the things that like make me more afraid.
Yeah, so actual
The loneliness,
symptoms of aging. Yeah,
the loneliness of it.
And aging alone.
Yeah, it's like, oh crap, I need to find someone fast. As sort of a queer person, I know there are like ways to sort of adopt kids and everything, but like for me, it's just more of like, I need to find someone fast, because otherwise, if I pass a certain age, then I may not be as valuable as a partner or attractive as a choice, and I'm going to be alone. And I'm going to be at the back of the bar by myself while everyone else is like drinking and like doing their TikTok dances and stuff, and I'm going to be at the back and I'm going to be like requesting for Madonna, you know. It's like,
Okay, careful now, because that could be like a huge chunk of our listeners. But
I love
and
Madonna,
there's nothing wrong with that.
and I can do a TikTok challenge.
Yeah, you control what you can if you really want to, but especially when it comes to finding a partner, right, or someone else.
Yeah.
I think that can bring you a lot of happiness, but your happiness perhaps shouldn't depend on that as well. On someone else, just because you are not, just because your worth isn't determined necessarily by whether or not someone picks you or chooses you.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that concept for sure. And I am confident in a lot of ways. To be consistently like bulletproof confident is to me like something that I don't see will happen. You know, like I'll be confident and I'll be strong and I can do my solo trip and I'll be like fine, I can put my headphones on and I can live it up. But I do fear that tinge of that pocket of that moment in between where it's like, oh shit, I'm alone. I think that's the part that scares me, because when that pocket comes up, then it may be overwhelming. Even though I know that I'm confident, I know that I love myself and blah, 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 blah. Like I get that part. You know, but there will be this inevitable fear of like, I'm going to be by myself. And then my health gets shitty again. And then there's no one in the room, you know? So I do think there is that real sense of, I guess, fear as well.
Yeah. Hearing you now, and hearing more from you now, actually, then I realized that, yeah, actually, I'm not going to be that person to go, oh, don't be afraid. Everything will be fine. I'm not saying anything will not be fine. But what I'm saying is, it's sometimes actually the power comes with being able to live with that fear. If you spend your whole life trying to avoid that fear, not trying to run away from it, it's only going to grow bigger. You know, it's like your shadow, right? You move away from it, it gets bigger. It's something that's looming over you. I'm just seeing it because like there's actually a shadow of Josh cast on the wall right now. And it seems like, you know, if only we filmed our podcast, like, you know, what if?
That would be a fun idea.
Wouldn't that be a fun idea? Maybe next episode. We're all scared, lonely little fucks. So, and it's okay, because the silver lining that I can think of about being a sad, lonely little fuck is that there are other sad, lonely little fucks out there.
Yeah.
So, I guess what I'm saying is that we're not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone. Na, 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 na.
Finally, a song where you don't know the lyrics too.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be resting your voice. We have a lot that we are excited about for this next season. We're going to do a photo shoot, record a bunch of episodes together. So we'll try to get episodes out a little bit more frequently. But we are also, I think we were dropping kind of like hints throughout as well. We are experimenting with various mediums of this podcast.
Ooh.
And
formats.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear
surprises.
From you what you prefer this podcast to be more of.
A different approach that you think like, you know, might help you better access us. Because some of you I know
like actually sort of the intimacy of just like putting your headphones on, right? And we have experimented in the past before. We you know, we did film a few episodes, but we chose not to release like the full thing.
Yeah.
And I think that particular episode, if you remember, was the season 2 first episode, where we had the coming out story, and that one we filmed as well. And also we all look like members of PAP because we're all wearing white. If you remember. And we also want to know if you would buy merch if we were to.
Yeah, that's right.
If we were to make merch, and would you feel comfortable walking around town with SG Boys on your chest?
Or is there like a favorite quote that you think like, you know, that came from this podcast and you feel like you would gladly wear that around? So we have a lot of ideas. There's so many possibilities right now. And yes, we are inching up on 4 years, but we're looking forward to another 4. It's the two of us, back to two of us in the room, like how it started.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring on more people. And some of these people, honestly, you know, that we have on our list are like, we're looking at each other and we're going, why are they not on yet? Some of them are people that you are probably familiar with. Some of them are people maybe you've never heard of before.
But you need to hear their story.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, have we ever brought a boring story onto this podcast? I don't think so.
No.
You know, even if it was boring for like 5 seconds, it turned out to be important. Okay, I'm definitely hyping this up a lot, but that's only because I'm super excited.
As you should. You know, these are people that we genuinely are excited to speak to, genuinely excited to see like what comes out of it and like how we would benefit as well as hosts, you know, when we interview them. So just looking at the lineup that we have right now, we're very, very excited. Please share this podcast and feel free to like listen back to maybe episodes that you missed out on.
And I will say this is something that I've told directly to some of you when we've met in person. People would approach me and go like, hey, you know, I listened to your podcast. And when we do record, it's only us in the room and maybe 1 or 2 other guests.
Yeah.
And we put it out there and we push it on social media for a bit, and then after that we're moving on, like, you know, and we're living life in between, and we are dealing with all these health problems in between. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that we forget sometimes that once we push the episodes out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
And different people revisit the episodes at different times. And so I'm genuinely surprised when people come to us and go, hey, I listen and you know, I identify with this part of this story or whatnot. Like just the other day, it was super random, but someone was telling me about how they listened to our Halloween episode where we told ghost stories. And as you know, it's the 7th month now. So I was like...
Such a good episode with Liu.
Yeah, with Liu. And yeah, it was just such a random episode, right? And then I was like, okay, let's not talk about this now because, like, you know, 7th month and we're walking out outside and it was like past midnight and everything. And also because like there were a couple of truly scary stories in there.
Yeah.
I guess it's funny. We want you to know that we really appreciate y'all. And I always say it in person. I'm sure Josh also has. Like, so thank you. And we are not done. There's more to come. So stay tuned.
I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are the SG Boys.
That little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. The beliefs, views, and opinions expressed on this podcast are attributable to its hosts only and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, organization, company, or individual.